Welcome to the Purified Perceptions podcast.
Oh.
And honestly, today feels really different.
Completely different.
Yeah, because if you've been listening for a while, you know the drill.
Hmm.
Usually we take a stack of articles or, a trend, and we analyze it from the outside looking in.
Right, playing the observer, dissecting the data.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But today, we're flipping the script entirely.
We aren't looking through the window today. We are standing inside the house.
We really are.
Uh,
For this first deep dive, we're stepping into a new identity. We aren't just commentators anymore. We are speaking as collaborators.
as builders.
Builders, yes. Working directly with Ariel, the founder, and the rest of the team behind what we're discussing today. So, welcome to our very first deep dive in this new format.
It's exciting to finally frame it that way. This isn't a review of someone else's work. This is a conversation between builders about a new reality that we are actively constructing.
Yeah.
And I think that changes the energy of the conversation completely. We aren't critiquing here, we're inviting you in.
We are. And the topic we are diving into is the evolution of souls, or EOS.
EOS.
Now, I know when people hear a name like that, they might think, okay, is this a philosophy class? Is this a sci-fi novel?
Or a meditation retreat, right.
Exactly. Is it a retreat?
And the answer is none of the above. And that is the most important thing to land right at the start.
Yeah.
The source material we're working from is adamant about this. EOS is not a theory. It isn't a self-help course you take on a weekend and then completely forget by Tuesday.
Right.
The term they use, and I really love this, is a civilization layer.
A civilization layer. Let's unpack that, because that is a massive claim to make.
It is massive. It implies infrastructure, it implies governance, culture, economics, and biology. The core definition we have in the blueprints is that EOS is a tangible, functioning, heaven-coded mirror of the world.
A heaven-coded mirror. That phrase really stuck with me when we were going through the internal documents.
It's beautiful.
It is. It sounds poetic, almost abstract, but when you actually look at the blueprints of what Ariel and the team are building, it's incredibly systematic.
Highly practical.
Very practical. But before we get into the apps, the guidance, the tools, we really have to talk about the why.
We do.
Because I think you, the listener, regardless of where you are in life right now, you've felt this specific friction we're about to talk about.
It's that humming beneath the noise.
Yes. The sources describe it as a subtle pulse that says things could be different. You know the feeling I'm talking about. You wake up, you do the commute, you consume the media, you eat the processed food.
And even if on paper everything looks totally fine, there is this background radiation of exhaustion.
Exhaustion, yes. You catch yourself thinking, does it really have to be this hard? Does life just have to be about constant compromise?
That intuition, that exact question, is the ignition point for EOS. The entire mission is predicated on proving that no, it does not have to be that way. The hypothesis we are working with here is that the friction we feel isn't a natural state of being, it's a symptom.
A symptom of living in a system that is fundamentally misaligned with human biology and the human spirit.
Exactly. So the mission of EOS is to create a world rooted in coherence, sovereignty, health, creativity, and truth.
And the fascinating thing, and this is a key distinction for anyone taking notes right now, is that this isn't about fixing the old world.
No.
We aren't trying to patch the holes in the Titanic here.
Right. We are building a new vessel entirely. We are building a new world alongside the old one.
So we have a clear roadmap for this deep dive. We're going to look at the cracks in the old world, what the sources call the control matrix, and the collapse of misalignment.
Then we'll look at the blueprint of this new Earth.
And finally, and I think most importantly, we're going to break down the mechanism of how we actually get there, which the documents call the Great Migration.
And migration is the perfect word. It implies movement, it implies purpose, and a destination. But you don't migrate unless you realize your current environment is uninhabitable.
Which brings us to the context. The collapse of misalignment.
Yeah.
Now, the source material we have is surprisingly blunt here. It doesn't pull punches about the state of our current systems. It lists them out, framing them as systems of compromise. And when you read down the list, it's really hard not to nod your head.
It really is.
Let's start with something we all interact with. Education.
The critique of education in the EOS material is searing, but it completely resonates. It argues that the current model standardizes genius rather than igniting it.
Yeah.
It compresses curiosity. Think about it. We take these infinitely creative beings, children, and we fit them into a box designed for industrial utility,
We grade them on their ability to repeat information.
not their ability to synthesize new realities.
It's designed for a world that doesn't really exist anymore. It's a factory model for a creative age.
Exactly.
And then you move to food. This one hits home for me because it's just so immediate. We have a system where food often depletes energy rather than nourishing it.
You eat and you feel tired,
You eat and you get brain fog.
which feeds directly into the medical model. The sources highlight that the current medical industry profits from managing symptoms and maintaining disease states.
Rather than facilitating true healing.
Right, or resolution. It's a business model based on maintenance. If you cure the patient, you lose the customer. So you have a food system that makes you sick,
And a medical system that manages the sickness. It's a closed loop.
and then layering on top of that, you have media and Hollywood. The source material describes Hollywood as shaping illusion instead of truth.
And honestly, looking at the last few years, the illusion is shattering. People are seeing the wire.
The suspension of disbelief is just gone.
It is. And finally, the text points to finance and tech. These sectors are described as bending reality to maintain power and fragmenting human consciousness.
When you put all those together, education, food, medicine, media, finance, you see the structure of what EOS calls the old reality, or the control matrix.
And I want to be careful here because the notes are quite stark on this. They list the current state of these systems with some pretty intense phrasing.
They do.
It says things like, shadow government revealed, banking cartels spotlighted, elite occult trafficking exposed.
Yeah.
Now, just to be clear, we are simply reporting what is in the source material here. We aren't endorsing any specific political viewpoints or taking sides.
Right. Our goal is just to convey the ideas in the text impartially.
Exactly. But it feels heavy to read that. You can feel like looking at a conspiracy board. But the core argument the text is making is that these are simply the structural realities of the old system coming to light.
It is heavy, but here is where the EOS mindset shifts the narrative completely. And this is crucial for us as builders. The view here, the view from inside the house, isn't fear.
It isn't panic.
Not at all. The text says we are watching the death of the control matrix in real time, but it frames this as the great unveiling.
So it's not a tragedy, it's a clearing.
Precisely. It's the collapse of misalignment. When things that are not true begin to crumble, it looks like chaos. It looks like the end of the world to some people.
But it's actually a correction.
Yes, it's a natural byproduct of the truth coming out. It's like a fever breaking. It's messy, but it means the body is healing.
I really love that perspective. It shifts you from being a victim of the collapse to a witness of the clearing.
Exactly.
But this raises a huge practical question for you listening right now. If the old system is crumbling, if the schools, the banks, the media are failing, what do we do? Do we grab pitchforks? Do we fight it?
That is the most common reaction. Anger, rebellion. But that is not the EOS way.
No.
The team's stance is very specific and, frankly, quite advanced strategically. We are not here to fight these old systems. Why? Because fighting them only feeds them.
Fighting them feeds them. Can you unpack that a bit? Because that feels very counterintuitive. Usually, if you want to change something, you fight it.
It's all about energy physics.
Yeah.
When you fight something, you are directing your attention, your emotion, and your energy toward it. You are locking yourself in a dialectic with it.
You validate it as your opponent.
Yes. The EOS strategy is migration through resonance. You unplug from the old by stopping the feed of energy to it. Where attention goes, energy flows.
So if you starve the old systems of your attention and your participation, they lose their grip naturally.
They die in the vine.
That sounds incredibly freeing. It's not about going to war. It's about walking away and walking toward something better.
Walking toward the new.
So let's talk about that something better. Let's look at the vision of evolution of souls.
This is where we shift from the problem to the solution. EOS is described as the next evolutionary step. It's a parallel reality living within and alongside the current one.
It's not a commune in the desert.
No, it's a layer over our current lives.
And this brings us back to Ariel's vision of the heaven-coded mirror. I really want to dig into that mirror concept. The idea is that for every distorted function in the old world sick care, indoctrination, propaganda, there is a mirrored, purified version in EOS.
Exactly. If the old world has an education system that suppresses curiosity, EOS has an education pillar where curiosity is considered sacred.
If the old world has a sick care system, EOS has a pillar where health is the baseline.
It's about flipping the polarity.
Let's run through those values because they act as the operating system for this new layer. In the old world, we have extraction. In EOS, we have creativity as the new currency.
And integrity becomes the default. Imagine doing business or just interacting in a space where you don't have to guard yourself because integrity is the baseline assumption.
It removes so much friction.
You don't realize how much energy you spend just protecting yourself in the old system until you step into a space where you don't have to.
And then there's technology. We talked about how tech currently fragment human consciousness. The doom scrolling, the dopamine loops. But EOS talks about conscious technology.
This isn't a Luddite movement. We aren't smashing the computers.
Far from it. We are reclaiming the tools. The source material mentions a rare AI tool specifically for New Earth creations.
That is a perfect example of using modern leverage for a higher purpose. Instead of AI that mines your data to sell you ads, imagine AI designed to amplify your consciousness.
Or help you synthesize complex ideas for the betterment of the community.
Right. It's not about rejecting tech. It's about aligning it.
And that's what makes this so tangible. I think sometimes when people hear terms like New Earth or evolution of souls, they think it's just a vibe.
Or strictly spiritual.
Yeah. But we are looking at the structure of the EOS platform. And it is real software. It has a UI. It has infrastructure.
It's very real. We've seen the interface. It has clear categories. Explore, create, connect, learn, build, heal, celebrate.
It's a user experience designed to replace the fragmented apps we use today with a cohesive ecosystem.
Think about your phone right now. You have an app for meditation, an app for social media, an app for banking, an app for health. They don't talk to each other, and half of them are trying to sell your data.
EOS is designed as a unified ecosystem where the logic is consistent across all functions.
And they have specific offerings ready to go. This isn't just coming soon. There's sovereignty guidance for individuals and kids.
That is huge. Teaching kids how to be sovereign beings from day one. That's the education piece we were missing.
And the wellness aspect is fully fleshed out. They list microdosing capsules, gummies, and support. This speaks to the biological sovereignty piece.
You can't have a sovereign mind if your body is inflamed and toxic.
Exactly. It's about taking ownership of your biology and your consciousness together.
Plus the culture piece. They have EOS, signature tees, hoodies, crew necks, and music. It might sound small, like, oh, they're selling t-shirts, but in this context, wearing the flag is a way of signaling resonance.
It's a way of identifying other builders out in the wild.
It creates a feedback loop of belonging. It's tribal in the best sense. And there is a motto on the platform that really sums up the philosophy we discussed earlier. It says, EOS is not fighting the system, it's simply mirroring it back in love.
Mirroring it back in love, that is such a distinct approach. It's not passive, but it's not aggressive either.
It's confident.
It is the confidence of knowing you have something better. You don't need to destroy the old flip phone to convince someone to use a smartphone.
You just show them the smartphone.
Right. The utility and the beauty speak for themselves. You don't have to argue for the new earth. You just have to demonstrate it.
So we have the context the old world is cracking due to misalignment. We have the vision, a heaven-coded mirror covering education, health, and tech. Now let's talk about the mechanism.
The Great Migration.
How do we actually do it? Because practically speaking, I like my Wi-Fi, I like my coffee, and I have bills to pay.
This is the practical physics of the movement. The text explicitly says it is not about vanishing or escaping modern life.
I think that's a fear people have, that they have to go live in a yurt in the woods to be enlightened.
That is definitely not the EOS model.
Thank God for that.
Ugh.
So if we aren't vanishing, what are we doing?
We are unplugging through coherence. We are staying in the world, but changing the source of our energy and our logic.
Think of it like changing the operating system on your computer.
Great analogy. The hardware, your job, your house, your city might look the same for a while, but the software running it is completely different.
So it's about where you source your validation, your truth, and your resources.
Exactly. When enough people choose differently, the old systems lose their grip. It's a volume game, but not in the way people think. It doesn't require 51% of the population.
When it's not an election, we aren't trying to get a majority vote.
Not at all. There is a beautiful quote in our source material from Margaret Mead. I'm sure you know it, but it hits differently in this context.
Never doubt that a small group of thoughtful, committed citizens can change the world. Indeed, is the only thing that ever has.
That is the key. You, listening right now, are invited to be part of this small group. The shift doesn't require everyone to wake up at once. It requires a critical mass of resonance.
It requires a coherent signal that is stronger than the incoherent noise.
Resonance. That word keeps coming up. It seems to be the primary mechanism of recruitment for this movement.
Because it's the mechanism of connection. The sources describe the feeling of stepping into EOS. It's not loud, it's magnetic, it is embodied.
You know when you walk into a room and the vibe is just off? And then you know when you walk into a room and you feel your shoulders drop and your breath deepen?
That's resonance.
They make a really important distinction in the documents about how it feels to join. It says listeners won't feel recruited or sold to.
And I think we're all so tired of being sold to. We are so tired of the marketing funnel.
Instead, you will feel recognized, supported, empowered, and home.
Home. That's a really powerful word in this context. It suggests you aren't going somewhere new. You're returning to something you forgot.
And that feeling of recognition is the proof. The text says you've glimpsed it before, in moments of clarity, in conversations that expanded instead of drained.
That resonance is the evidence that this layer of reality already exists inside you. EOS is just the external structure that matches your internal knowing.
It's like the software is finally catching up to the hardware of our souls. We've been running high-end spiritual hardware on a DOS operating system, and EOS is finally giving us the interface we need.
That's a brilliant way to put it. And it explains why the old system feels so glitchy right now. We've simply outgrown it.
So for you listening who is feeling that resonance right now, who is nodding along and thinking, okay, I'm ready to migrate, I want to install the new OS, what are the actual steps?
The sources mention a few specific entry points. First, there is the free guided audio experience from Object to Oracle.
That sounds like a powerful way to shift your internal state immediately. It's a tool to move from being an object of the system acted upon to an oracle of your own life, acting with intuition.
And there's a waitlist for exclusive events. This emphasizes the community aspect. Connect, build, celebrate. Because you can't build a civilization alone in your living room.
You really can't. And simply engaging with the tools is a step. Whether it's using the AI tool for creation, exploring the wellness support, or just joining the new EOS community.
These are the on-ramps to the migration. Every time you use a tool that affirms your sovereignty, you are widening that bridge.
It really feels like we are standing on the edge of something massive. Not in a scary way, but in a finally kind of way, like the fog is lifting.
If we look at the diagram of the Great Migration in the notes, we see people walking from the gray, crumbling structures across a bridge of light into this vibrant, green, living city.
That bridge is built by the choices we make every day. It's built by every dollar we spend on health instead of poison.
It's built by every hour we spend creating instead of consuming.
So, as we wrap up this deep dive, our very first one on the Purified Perceptions podcast, let's synthesize the mission here. We are collaborating with Ariel and the team to build the new so well that the old becomes irrelevant.
That is the core philosophy. We aren't here to fix the broken. We're here to birth the whole. We are architects, not renovation contractors.
And for you listening, the takeaway is pretty clear. You haven't stumbled onto this deep dive by accident. You've already glimpsed this world in your own life.
That hum you feel beneath the noise, that resonance, that is your invitation.
It is a call to active building. It's time to stop just observing the collapse, stop doom-scrolling the apocalypse, and start co-creating the new structure.
The revolution isn't a protest, it's a migration.
And it's a migration you don't have to do alone. In fact, you can't do it alone. It requires the collective. It requires the small group of thoughtful, committed citizens.
Before we go, I want to leave you with one final thought to mull over. We talked a lot about leaving the old world behind. But think about this. What if the old world isn't actually fighting us? What if the old world is just waiting for us to finish building this bridge so it can cross over too?
Wow. That changes everything. It's not an enemy, it's just waiting for the upgrade.
Exactly. Something to chew on as you go about your day. Check the links for the EOS waitlist, the community, and the tools we mentioned, whether it's the AI, the wellness, or the sovereignty guidance.
These are your tools for the build.
We are builders, and we are officially welcoming you to the team. This is just the beginning of the conversation, and we are so glad you were here for it.
It's time to come home.
Thanks for diving in with us. We'll see you on the inside.